Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life. Helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Andre, Dr. Brian, top of John's head. How you do? How's everyone doing this evening?
John, come up. There. What's going on?
All right.
John, you ready?
I thought it was ready. Right.
Oh, you signed another thing. That's why.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, villagers. Dr. Bryant, I hope that your memory will be better than mine. And thank our villagers for the show. To hit the subscribe button. Andre, if you could put that subscribe button up as well. All right. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us right here in the Village Radio Talk Show. I'm Roger Daly, your host. Joining me is our co-host, John Sampson, our co-hostess, Dr. Joy Bryan, our executive producer, Andre Doman, and behind the scenes, we also have our producer, Sophia Willisey, where we are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. John, we have to lead today with Joanne's favorite topic. Politics.
Wait, that's my topic?
Oh, you see I got my MAGA hat on.
I see that. I see the traitor. All right.
Man, people clip this. You know how people are. They clip and they just go, see, we said it. So closer, John. Now, let us see exactly that the hat is not.
No, it's not. It's a polo hat. It's not Make America Great Again. Go ahead, Dr. Bryant. Start it off, Doctor.
I have nothing to say. No comment.
All right, let me start.
John, our co-hostess was interviewed in Fox 5.
Oh, Doctor.
And those were her comments.
Yeah, Dr. Bryant, that's your comments, huh?
Those were her comments.
My comments?
Hey,
I have nothing to say. We'll see.
You know what? Let's get to it.
Let's get the ball rolling.
Let's get straight to it.
Wait, let's do it in stages, though. When you were watching the election on Tuesday night or Tuesday, when did you see or believe that she was not going to win?
When she was not going to win? No, I kind of I thought It was about, I stopped watching about a little after 10. And I figure, you know, she would catch up. But I thought it would have been like a domino effect once we got Pennsylvania. And I just went to bed, and then in the morning, you know, I heard that he was close to clinching the presidency. But I look at it like this.
Mhm.
First things first, listeners, God does not make a mistake.
I said that too. Mm-hmm.
And this is a learning experience for the Democrats. And the learning experience is this: enough with the wokeness, enough with the political correctness. It comes down to, what do people want in life? What has impacted them the most? And it's economics. When you look at the price of food and gas, the way they were a couple of years ago and the way they are now, when the economy is 70% of what people concentrate on, if they feel they're not doing bad, they're definitely going to switch the party that is in office.
I've been saying that for months now.
That's what it comes down to. And I think if we play Monday morning quarterback, I think if Kamala was Madam Vice President, was more detailed in her analysis of how she was going to do with the economy, and also just dealing with the border issue, just taking it head on. Sometimes, just say, oh, we could have had the legislation. No, sometimes people accept if you say, hey, you know what, I messed up, and I'll do something different. Because Trump, we knew what Trump was going to do, and we know what he is going to do moving forward. But what's interesting, listeners, is that Kamala got 15 million votes less than Joe Biden. Got 15 million votes less. Think about that, listeners. 15 million votes less than Biden. Trump got 70 million votes last time he ran. This time, Trump got 71 million votes. His base was there, and he got 1 million more people. Biden, Kamala, 15 million people. 15 million people. So it wasn't about the Republican turnout was what it's going to be. It was the Democratic and the independents turnout, but more so the Democratic turnout wasn't what it was supposed to be. And who do we blame that on? We blame that on ourselves, because a lot of people were not enthusiastic. There was too many freaking issues, caught up with, the bottom line. Republicans understand what it is. It's about staying in power. When you are in power, you can effectuate, you can do things, but you can sit on the sidelines and stew, saying, oh, this is not right, this policy. You are not going to implement your policy if you're not in a position of power. So you know what? We are not in a position of power. We you know what? Donald Trump may have all branch. He may have the Senate and the House. So therefore, he is going to do what the hell he wants to do. And who to blame? We blame it on ourselves because we did not turn out.
No checks and balances.
15 million votes. And the Hispanic votes increased. The black votes, she got a considerable number of black votes, but it's still Trump got more than expected. So what does that tell you? It just tells you that the Democratic Party has swung too far left. So people are tired of this. People are tired. No, let me finish, Roderick. People are tired of, oh, you can't, it got to be a holiday party. It can't be Christmas. You can't say Christmas. Is it he, she, they? Call me by my name, and that's my name. People are tired of all the transgender stuff. The women playing, the men playing in these women's sports. It's just, people are just saying, let's just go back to just being regular people. You know, it's just too much of the wokeness, too much of the political correctness. We could still be correct in what we do, but at the same time, we have to leave room for just being, we are just Americans. And you know what's interesting is also America is racist, America is sexist. Definitely. They are not ready for a woman president, but most of all, a president of color.
Yep.
The comments that they made about Kamala, it just shows you that the disrespect that they have, and Donald Trump has no respect for her either. But we allowed this man to come with so much baggage. If this was a Democrat, first of all the Democrats would have said you had to resign, you can't run. But the Republicans understood that this guy has a base. His base turns out, and that's what he did. He got 1 million additional votes than he did last time. 1 million votes less.
More.
We lost 15 million votes. Think about it,
more.
listeners.
So
Go ahead, Roger. Go ahead, Doc.
So we're gonna break it down little by little, but let's start with the fact. You know, when I knew she lost on Tuesday, I still had hope going into Tuesday that she was going to win. But then you start seeing the analysis where Biden performed 63% here. She's performing.
She was underperforming.
And Trump is overperforming. And that was consistent. And it was consistent throughout the night. So no, I didn't expect Pennsylvania to turn back and become blue. But people saying, oh, if she had Pennsylvania, no, Pennsylvania alone wouldn't have made it one. She would have to win Pennsylvania and Georgia, right? Or Pennsylvania, North Carolina. And North Carolina has voted Democratic in 08, 12, 16, 20, right? So for the last 4 cycles, their vote Democratic. Democratic governors got elected where she lost the state.
North Carolina.
Right? Right? That says a lot. So I must tell you that one of the things I hate teaching most in school is LGBTQ information. Not to teach the information, but feels like I'm drowned, right? I'm drowned I'm drowning in hearing the information. And to be honest with you, well, my son passed that age now, and he's 9. But my 9-year-old son cannot come to me and tell me that he wants a sex change. Right? So a lot of people have issues with that. I was speaking to one of my former students this week, and she has 2 young. She has 1 young boy, and she's on her way pregnant. I think she's due sometime around March or April with another young boy. All she could say is, Mr. Daly, right? I don't know, right? I don't know. This is crazy, right? But I do, on the other side of that, though, I have a problem with you taking books out of schools,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Christianity should be taught, not the same way anything is taught in school is the same way everything should be taught in school, if that makes sense. Not that slavery, because slavery is a historical concept of school.
Correct.
The thing.
But if you can't teach Christianity, which preaches heterosexuality, then you should not be able to teach homosexuality.
Here's the thing. Remember, there was a protest from the Satan groups. They wanted to create Satan
The what?
clubs. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Satan group. They wanted to create Satan clubs. They felt they were being discriminated because they couldn't create their Satan groups in the schools. So when you start saying, you know, you want Christianity taught in school, that means Christianity, Muslim, Buddhist, every type of religion is going to be taught in school. And that's why
And it
some
could.
religion create their own schools just to teach that.
Yeah, but
Because now, if you're saying that, the group that can't teach what they want is going to feel isolated and they feel discriminated.
no, that's not what I said. What I said was all groups should have the same level playing field in teaching, with the exception of historical facts. The Holocaust, slavery, right? What did they do? What did America do to Japan, John, in the 1940s?
The internment. Yeah.
Internment camps.
Yep.
Those are factual events in history,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and you should not take them out. And the impact that they did, well, Holocaust didn't take place in America, but Holocaust had a worldwide impact,
Mm-hmm.
right? So those factual things need to be taught in school. I'm
Mhm.
saying in terms of, I have you have to teach respect
Mm-hmm.
and acceptance, right?
Right.
Very important, right? I'm not better than you, or I might be better than you, right? I might be better than you in this,
Yeah.
but I sure as hell know you're better than me in that.
Trevor mentioned, no, the policy in America is a Christian state. Yes, but they're
What
also
policy in America?
recognizing,
What policy in America, Trevor?
I
if
think-
you're
I
referring-
think-
So how we get on religion when we on election? What's up?
No,
Well-
I'm just saying.
Well, Trevor is just saying in America is wholly Christian. Like when you think about, if we look at Middle East,
or
right?
divide, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we would say,
Oh,
that-
right.
that cultural-
Right. Our religion of choice is Christianity.
yeah.
Okay. No, John, you were bringing up you had brought up the LGBTQ and the transgender, and a lot of people are not for that. And so, and for people who are not really for that, there are a lot of people out there who don't want their kids to be involved, and they vote. And I'm just saying, this particular student of mine is like, I hear you, but you know, and on a number of issues. I mean, those people who tell me why they were voting for Trump that I took seriously. Because some of them were voting for Trump, and it's kind of like that video that's going around with.
You know what bugs me out with Trump, also with this whole thing? Everybody says Trump is going to be good on economics, the economy, and stuff like that. Look at this guy's own business model, man. Filing bankruptcy and stuff like that. I mean, it's just crazy. And but you know what? He's P.T. Barnum. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to sell it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He knows how to sell it. He says, I can relate to you. How can you relate to me when you grew up with hundreds of millions of dollars that you could use when I grew with nothing? But you know what Trump did, my friends?
He sold
Trump
it.
said things they wanted to say, but they couldn't. He made it okay. He made it okay.
Yep.
No more closet. There's no more closet racism now. I can convert and tell you how I feel. So got to deal with it.
I was in last week. I did a show from Pennsylvania, and I agree. That's I agree. I don't think I said the word choice in any of my statement. It is not a choice to be gay. I don't think I said that at all. And I was looking at the economic status of the individuals in this town, and they weren't making, to me, any money. It looked like a retirement town, right?
Yes. Trump gave license to racism in America.
That's exact.
Mhm.
And
They're empowered now.
they were champions, and you could visually see that they were not upper middle class. Like there's sometimes you can see, sometimes you don't know how much money a person has or whatever, right? Or their favorite shoes, but you could tell like no teeth, and this was a lot, right? They can barely walk. Like healthcare seems like an issue, but they were champions. And John, I don't know if everybody heard you at the beginning, so I want to reiterate something. The numbers. Trump 71. Trump got 71 million votes.
Kamala got 66 million.
And Kamala got
$15 million, 15 million votes less than Joe Biden.
That is for.
Think about that, listeners. Think about that.
And that's what I was saying, that once I started seeing 2% less, 2.5% less, 3% less.
She was underperforming.
Right. She was underperforming in so many districts than she overperformed. And what was interesting also, I think outside of Philadelphia, she did
even well. Philadelphia didn't turn out the way they figured it was.
Right. But those 2%, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who said that you don't like to vote, and you're upset that Kamala Harris lost, this is why voting is important.
Yep.
Because she lost, and that's that's funny, because when I hear my number, John,
right,
22 million New Yorkers, it don't sound like a lot, right? In 66 million across the United States,
right,
it doesn't sound like a lot, right? But when I break it down to my election district, right? Break it down to my election district, my assembly district, my congressional district, they start looking at breaking numbers down that way. you begin to see how important your one vote matters.
Mm.
And that's how everybody has to look at it. And they were not. You know, Andre, your thoughts? I know you're going to come off soon.
So, by the way, Rock, I see that you're trying to get on, but your camera, something seems off.
Sophia asked, do you think this voter interference?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was probably there. But my thoughts on this, I agree with John. I agree with John in a sense of more with the border and just how the Democrats would handle each other when they mess up. Because I always use the comparison between heroes and villains. Republicans is like the villains. They don't care. They're just gonna do. And if you don't like it, oh well, you don't like it. Whereas the Democrats might try to, the political correctness to say that
appease.
But I would also say I wasn't really surprised that that she lost, right? I kind of saw it coming based on what was happening. Like Trump had Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, so you throw so much money in, and then I kind of even felt like it was like the series House of Cards, if anybody see the House of Cards, right? I think even too when we were all saying Biden can still run against Trump and win, like that was being ignored, right? Because things happen. People get to a certain age, and you might not be able to fight the battle as strong as you once were. But you had Kamala there, and you see this on the wall for so long. You should have bring her in from early on, so she had more time to really do what she can. Felt like a lot of rush was happening for her to really get a lot of people on her side, right? And then now she dives in, and going back to what John was saying, the most pressing issue in the last 2 years was the economics. Everybody wanted to be able to live, provide. So you can talk about all of the stuff regarding equity and inclusion and all, but most people are when most people are struggling to pay rent, to buy food and all those things, they're not thinking about those things. They're like, how can I make some money to be able to survive, right? And being that Trump sell that aspect so well, a lot of people went on that side, right? And really just went in to kind of help. And it's interesting too how it seems like they were coming at black men ain't gonna vote so much. And look at that. The exit poll results show that most black men voted for her. So there's that right there. But there was that short campaign itself to really kind of try to bring black men on. And I think even just how people kind of felt like the celebrities that she brought on weren't really representative of the constituents. So,
you know what? I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? The celebrities and people that she brought on, they're just sharing their endorsements. They're celebrities because they worked hard to get to the point where they're at. Just because you bring them on, there's nothing negative with respect to that. And people want to try, the celebrities, it's out of touch reality. Trump is out of touch reality because he never grew up poor. He never had to work hard in his life.
But I'm not saying that, right? Because yes, like Trump can't relate to us, but he sold it. He sold it in a way as if it was really. And again, right, the fact that you use this idea that you're such a great businessman and you sold it to people who don't necessarily research on that. It's like when those COVID checks were coming out, and he made it seem like he gave them, right? And Obama came on and said, no, he didn't give y'all. It was Congress. Congress had to put that out there. But Trump did it in such a way where people were like, oh, you asked a lot of black people, why they want to vote for Trump. A lot of them was just like, well, he gave me the stimulus check. Like that's what a lot of them said, right?
And one woman, and you know what's interesting, Andre? A friend of mine, one woman one woman had the audacity to say that I'm voting for Trump because of his economic policies.
And you didn't even look it up. Exactly. You know, they're not.
Here's what happened, John. Also, I think we're gonna do a commercial and bring Rock on. Right? Is Rock? Let's do a commercial first and bring Rock on.
Yeah. Okay. Do it now or
no? After I finish my comment, the Apprentice. You're fired.
The Apprentice. Yep.
Did a lot for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Because
helping brand, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It gave him a platform where America saw him. So sometimes he's going to put something on his resume, right? He's going to put something on his resume that's not factual or partial facts.
But Roger, you know what is facts? Donald Trump won the popular vote.
Hold on. So what I was saying with that, right? What I was saying with that is because people saw the name every time so often, like Andre said, they're not going to research if he actually has what he says he has, because you see it too often. You were saying.
I want to also add this into, right? I want to also add this into, you're listening to even like Dr. Claude Anderson, and he talks about having a foundation with economics and even having the media itself as a impact of teaching. You have, again, going back to Elon signing with Trump. I was listening to this podcast, Earn Your Leisure, listen to all the time, and they were really talking about the idea where Elon have Twitter, right? So now you have that media that, like, if you look through Twitter, really, it's just Elon run that, right? And then now you sign it with president. So now you have so much power. You're the richest man. You have Tesla, right? As much as people will be like, oh, you know, I don't agree with him or so. A lot of people who even vote Democrat and all still go out there and go drive their Tesla and putting money into Tesla and all that. Who getting that? Who getting some of that money, right? You have SpaceX, which really now is as if it's being as strong as NASA.
Right.
SpaceX is what really get the issue that happened the other day with the astronauts, right? Get SpaceX. So it's just like there's so much happening right there, and Elon is in play right here. Look at Tesla. The Tesla stock skyrocketed after starting the year in such terrible way, right? Went all the way to 135 and shot up to 299 this morning. So it's just like the amount of people are in that, and people looking at that, people who might be versed on investment, making so much from that. And guess what they're gonna say? It's Trump. It's Elon, right? The reality, you know, economics is probably was the biggest thing for a lot of people, and seeing that itself, you know, it's impactful.
One of the things A.M. Dennis said, one of the main point that even Dems disagreed with was putting men in women's sports, or vice versa. He also said, "Hey, JR, what's going on?"
By the way, sorry, can we do the commercial and then bring Rock on? Because I know.
Yeah, I just told you all that that I don't believe in polls because it's misleading and a distraction. The polls lied, and the media took it as if the world was against Trump.
I mean, it depends on which media information you're looking at. Because I was looking at a lot of the economic media too. A lot of people were for Trump then. So it just depends on the media.
Yeah, I think the Trump went the ways of the voters, and he didn't lie.
Rock, you're not hearing Rock say he can only hear John.
John, talk again.
I'm here.
No.
You're not.
Can you hear me?
So, John, tell him to log off and log back on then.
Hey, Rock, log on, log off, and then log back on, Rock.
All right. Let me play the commercial, Roger, and then no.
Go on ahead.
All right.
Footprints Cafes now offers Caribbean flatbreads, available in 11 mouthwatering flavors, including favorites like jerk chicken, curry chicken, honey garlic chicken or shrimp, ackee and saltfish, garlic cheese, and more. Our flatbreads are satisfying and can be enjoyed by the entire family. So make it a flatbread night at Footprints and enjoy the fusion of flavors. These flatbreads are so good, you might just have to fight for that last piece. Good thing there's plenty more where that came from. Get yours today from any of our Footprints locations. Want to enjoy your flatbread at home? Then order on Uber Eats and get it delivered right to your door. We'll see you there.
Call Howard Housing Solution today for all your real estate needs. Sellers, we can get top dollar for your home, and our vast network of professionals can facilitate your move and help you purchase your dream home in another state. Buyers, we have a pulse on the market and can get you in a home quickly. Property owners, we can manage your property efficiently and allow you peace of mind. So why wait? Call Howard Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560 for your sale, purchase, or property management needs. Conveniently located in East New York, Brooklyn. You can come to us at 577 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, or we can visit in the comfort of your home. Call Howard's Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560. Howard Housing Solutions. Real estate simplified.
Want to get your personal income tax, business corporate tax, self-employment tax, quarterly tax, payroll tax, or sales tax filing done professionally?
Yeah.
Call U.S. Bear LLC 718-676-0519 and take the worry out of your personal and business life. Tax compliance issues should be left to the pros. So when you want your business to grow, call the pros because a successful business matters. U.S. Bear LLC also handles accounting, bookkeeping, business startups, consultation, real estate, and many more services. Call U.S. Bear LLC 718-676-0519 and ask for Howard DaCosta, CEO, to book a 1-hour evaluation at no cost to you. Take remote control of all your needs and U.S. Bear LLC will follow your lead. Want to work but don't have a social security number?
Yes!
Find out about getting a tax ID to pay your taxes. Call U.S. Bear LLC or log on to www.usbear.com. Team up for success.
Hey, Andre. Oh, look at that. So I think that there's so much that that both parties can learn. Yet, you know, John, the Republican Party pushed in two issues. I'm going to get the migrants out. I'm going to get the migrants out. I'm going to deport people. Two issues. Not that they didn't talk about other issues, but they pushed forward those two. Democratic Party was more, oh, kumbaya, my lord, right? Oh, we all can live together. We all can.
All right, so we can bring Rock up.
Right, go ahead. We all can do this.
Do this.
I'm Rock.
Hello, fellas.
Hold on. Remember like last week, Rock?
You guys can hear me? You guys
Hold
can,
on. Remember like last week, Rock?
You guys can hear me?
You got to mute when
Can
you're.
you guys
when
hear
you're
me?
not speaking.
Yeah, okay.
You got to mute when you're not speaking.
Okay, good night, fellas.
Good night. Good night.
Thanks for having me again.
Good night. Good night. Oh, so remember mute when you speak. So remember mute when you speak. Well, when you're not
When I
speaking.
speak, after
Well, when you're not speaking. Sorry.
Okay, will do. I have had a very interesting for less than 48 hours, really. because I know the last time I was here, you guys said you posted online 2 of my columns. Since President Trump, former President Trump, was the attempted assassination the first time, I've written 4 columns on the race. 3 of them have gone international. Trinidad, Canada, London, and Brooklyn also. Now, it could have gone further simply because I've been writing freelance journalist. I've been a freelance journalist since 1996, and I've even gotten responses from all the way from China. So I don't know if I'd gotten, but I've gotten a beating to the last, let's say, 36 hours. I've taken a beating because a lot of people said that I raised everybody's hopes with my analysis that Kamala Harris was going to win. And all I did, I posited a theory that women were going to deliver her. And for the first time in history, in political science theory, women were going to vote separate from the main male figure in their lives. And it didn't work out. And there are a lot of finger pointing and blame, and I'm not going to get into the blame game. But I'll say this. How could you consider the price of eggs and paying a couple dollars more for it, and the price of gas and paying a couple dollars more for it, over the fact that this man has put in place a policy, and I'm not talking about abortion, I'm talking about care, female gynecological care, especially when they're pregnant, where doctors are now scared to even touch women in labor who are hemorrhaging with a premature delivery and these things, and a miscarriage and whatnot, and they're actually dying in parking lots in hospitals because the doctors are scared of losing their license or going to jail. So I find it kind of difficult on a humane level for you to consider the price of eggs more important than the price of women's lives. And that is what has bothered me with this race. The other thing that bothered me, and again, I'm not going to point fingers and micromanage Kamala's campaign. I've given her an A- for the campaign she ran. But I would say this. You cannot put economics ahead of human lives. And yes, another theory says Americans vote their pocketbook and all that. But when you're in a position where people are dying, women are dying, and it's not a male issue, simply because of policy put in place by Trump and his minions in the Supreme Court and his minions in the far right and the right-wing Republican, because they're repugnant now, legislatures, where women are dying, and you're talking about the price of this, and you're talking about what's going on with the kid is leaving in the morning, he's a man, he comes back a woman. Not true, it's a lie. Come on. But I have given 7 planks because I am unapologetic, and I'm not going to apologize for why I saw it, the way I saw it, and who I voted for and who I supported, because I'm not going to support a con man, a thief, a liar, a rapist, a man who tried to overthrow the government and mess with the Constitution and has fascistic tendencies. So one last thing. I have given some planks as to why this happened. Racism, and racism not only with white people, racism period, because racism affects all races. And one day we're going to realize it's only the human race really that we should be concerned about. White supremacy, Christian nationalism, and I have something to bring up with Roderick Daley before I go, because I heard him say something and I took serious umbrage with it. Transphobia, homophobia, and even though I don't particularly care for that lifestyle because I think it's unnatural, but they're still human beings. And as a Christian, we got to be compassionate and loving and forgiving and leave judgment up to God. And I'm saying that you put it all together and you put xenophobia in there, and you put misogyny in there, male chauvinism and all that, and there you get the mix that causes it. Now let me come to Roderick. He said he would love to see Christianity brought back into the classroom. Fine, not against that. But my question to him is it fine if they allow Hinduism in classroom or Islam in classroom? Is he fine with that? And I'll unmute and I'll rest.
I didn't. Okay, let me say what I said again. All right, let me say what I said again. I believe that if you're going to teach, I believe that you should stick with history. That is there, historical facts. You did social studies, right? Historical facts, the Holocaust, the Japanese internment, slavery. Those are historical facts, right? And, and beyond. What I'm saying is that if you are, whatever way you give one group the opportunity, right? You need to give the next group the same opportunity. So if you want me to go to a PD on Christianity and how it should be run in your school, what you should look for, I'm going to go. If you want to give a PD and how it should be run in your school on Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever, and all other groups, all groups must be treated the same. And sometimes,
well thanks for clarifying it for me.
And
thanks for clarifying
and right. And I like you say, a person is who they are, right? It's not for me nor you to judge any man, right? So that's definitely not what I'm saying. Joanne, we're back.
Again, I said thank you for clarifying it for me, because I agree with you that religion should be taught in schools, and that I've gone even further. I believe we should introduce into the curriculum, and I hope Ms. Bryant will help me on this. I believe we should also bring philosophy in to the schools at the high school level at least. And I'll stop for now.
Philosophy at the high school level? Wow, you're going deep, man. You want, yeah. Well, actually, I do believe in a strong debate team. I do believe in that. Learn how to formulate arguments and stuff.
But when we go back into religion, like I mentioned earlier, once you open up the door for one religion, you have to be accepting of all the different types of religion that come into play. I understand that the United States, but remember what you asked for. If you mention, hey, you know what, we should teach Christianity in the school system, guess what? Buddhist is going to feel the same. Muslims going to feel the same. Satanist group is going to feel the same. Remember, you're opening up the doors to so many different things. Debate.
So my point to that is you have to identify, and I know it's easier said than done when you're in Jamaica, because in Jamaica, you're just doing Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Iraq, you're only doing Islam. But you can have your own religion, but religion there is Islam. I think
that's why they have the different types of schools. Like Catholic schools, they're teaching mainly focusing on the Catholic religion.
But
they
Joe,
have
where's this money come from? And we're digressing a lot from the subject. So I want to bring it back to the subject. It's not about what you teach in school, but what you're not teaching in school as well, right? What are you not teaching in school? And I think that's important. Like should you now label one of the English classes Africana study?
Well, if they won't allow that and they don't want history to be taught, do you think they want religion to be taught?
Again, the question is, no, Eddie. Yes. And maybe, Eddie, you and I can coin a word. Moral responsibility.
Okay.
Right? Moral and ethical responsibility. And what does that look like?
Okay.
Right? Because that's what all religion teaches. Right? Be good to your neighbor. Don't kick a man while he's down. Don't lie. Neither on your brother nor thyself. Right? It's all there. So, the point is, she got 14 million less votes. I didn't do the math, right? But it's 14 million change, and I think John rounds it off to about 15.
Yeah, but let me caution you on that. Brother Daly. Right now, all the votes are not in. All the votes are not in. And as such, we should wait until all the votes come in before we project as to what was missing and what was short and whatnot. Now, I had a big problem when I saw at 167 million, and I said, how could she get 14 million votes less than Joe Biden, who could hardly walk straight, bumble, stumble, and could hardly chew gum and think at the same time? And that bothered me. And then I saw Trump had lost about 3-4 million himself. And they kept telling us this was an election, the most important in your lifetime, and they're having record turnouts. So what accounts for the missing millions as it relates to comparing 2020 to 2024? I'll take your answer on that, Roderick.
Actually, I want Dr. Bryant. You want to give a stab at it first? Are you going to defer to me?
You know what I laugh about? What's sad is a lot of fear was brought up. A lot of fear. They threatened with the Proud Boys being in front of certain localities. They threatened, hey, there was bomb threat the day of. They threatened this and that. Even went to court to throw out if they made a mistake on. So many things were done for all votes not to be counted. So in thinking of that, would all the information be out? Not quite. Not quite at all. And fear is what drove people. Some people didn't want to come out because they were threatened that Ku Klux Klan was going around. Even the day of, that was going around. So there was a lot of fear that drove this election.
You know what I would like to see? They take those extra 500 to 1 million votes that are left and sprinkle them across all of the red states that were swing states to give Kamala the edge. And then take all of Donald Trump's missing votes and put it into Texas and Florida. That can't work, right, Rock? Right, Rock? That's illegal, right?
The way I'm looking at it, and I respect your opinion, my dear.
No, the reason
I still push back on you in the sense that there were other avenues and there were other vehicles from which you could have gotten your vote through. You could have gotten absentee ballot. You could have requested a mail-in ballot. So yes, you're right. There were bomb threats. There were all kind of things going on, in this election. And maybe your explanation is plausible. But here's my point again. If you're telling me it's the most important election in your life, and all the mediums are saying this, social media, mainstream, whatnot, and if you're telling me there are records being broken in the mail-in ballot and all this stuff, and now you're coming up short, whether you come up short by 5 million, 10 million, whatever, I would like a better explanation rather than intimidation. And as much as I respect your opinion,
I didn't give you an explanation. I'm just being facetious out there. My explanation is as follows. On Tuesday, a large number of people might have gone out to vote. Not as much as maybe previous years. But 4 years ago, in 2016, they didn't have early voting at this capacity. So people had to come in to vote. And they were now seeing more people. Because people had longer time to vote, they saw more. So a lot of them weren't mailing in their ballots anymore. They were walking it in. So if my clicker told me that 100 people passed through my station, that's how many people passed through. Because now I have the opportunity. Like, for example, I didn't vote on Tuesday, right? I voted the week before. You get what I'm saying, Rock? So over the continuity of time.
So did I, Rod. I voted early.
Right. So over the continuity of time, because remember, a couple of early elections, I'm like, why are they wasting money? This definitely could have waited for election day. Right? Definitely could have waited for election day. Because when you do, next year, you're going to have a good turnout because you're going to have the mayoral race. In 2027, you're going to have little to no voting. What's the point of having early voting? Right? 2026, you have Congress, the governor, the state senators, and the assembly. Judges are always on the ballot. Right? So they come out differently. And so you will see mass numbers of people voting. Because it was busy every day that I looked at my polling site. Was busy every day. I could tell you that.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, and being a veteran like you in this game, we know the highs and the lows and when to expect the highs and the lows, okay? And yes, presidential election brings out the best. Now, I have heard all these pushbacks from people who supported Donald Trump, especially Caribbean people. And they tell me, a lot of them tell me, it's a religious thing, a Christian thing, and whatnot. And I ask them over and over, how could you call it a Christian thing when you have a man insulting a woman and calling her scum? And when you have a man calling your country garbage, when you have a man who has cheated on all his wives, who has done all kind of perverse stuff and all kind of unchristian stuff and lies and steals and get convicted. And as I said again, you can't explain to me how it is you could claim this man is a Christian when he has demonstrated in every which way, even before he came down the escalator, that he does everything opposite to what a Christian should be doing. Greed, lust, you name it, gluttony, you name it. The 7 deadly sins, breaking the commandments. I mean, not loving your neighbor, no compassion for people who are running away from poverty and all the other things that went on after COVID and economic stuff. You have no compassion for them. You call people's names, and then you tell me that this man is a Christian and you're going to vote for him because it's a Christian thing. And I say, you're either being critical, or you're lying, or you're a pseudo-Christian but not a real Christian.
I also think a lot of these things are not about being pseudo-Christian or right. It's not about being just Christian or pseudo-Christian or like people. I see that we like to blame, right? I see that we like to blame, right? We like to blame. And what is the first thing that we can stick the blame with? That's what I'm going to do. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris exposed themselves, and I guess they felt that they ran the best campaign that they could have ran. I think, and the person obviously who is right is Donald Trump, because he won. But when I saw the takeaways, yeah, when I saw the takeaways, 1 second.
Roger, you're muted.
Yes, I'm off the screen for a minute.
You're on screen.
No, I didn't want to leave Rock by himself.
I'm right here.
No problem. No problem. Listen, I see John is coming in. Welcome to John. I really try to be objective in my analysis as a former political science lecturer and a political science commentator and a freelance journalist and a political consultant and all these things. I try to be objective. And if I'm looking to support a candidate, the first thing I would want to know is, what are his credentials? What is his or her experiences? Where they come from, what's their background? What's their community involvement, their political involvement? What are they articulating? Where are they on the issues? What is their vision? But the average person doesn't do this. They're caught up in life, but they just pay attention in the late stages. But we have a track record of a man that goes back all the way to me, I came here in 1973, and we know what this man is about. And we know what he's done, what he has said, how he's treated people, how he's dealt with people. So you want to tell me character, you're talking all this Christian stuff, and you do all this like one of your commenters there was talking about transgender and abortion and homosexuality. Well, okay, fine, but whether they are trans or straight or gay, we are supposed to leave judgment up to God. What is the character of this individual? Do you want your kids to look up to the President of the United States and see a man performing a sex act on a microphone? That is, and you're telling me it's all about God and Christ and religion? And I try to be objective. I'm not even going to get into all his indiscreet stuff from years ago and whatnot. This is the man you voted for. And I have no respect for you if you voted for him, if you're telling me that his character doesn't matter, but somehow you are religious and you are Christian and you are God-fearing. I refuse to take it and accept it.
Well, Rock, we know it's all about hypocrisies, and we know that's who we are in society. People will only do what they feel is in their best interest. They'll look past everything. However, Rock, when it comes to the Republicans, they are willing to look past it. But as to the Democrats, the first thing we always say, what's the first thing we would say, Rock? What would be the first thing they would say, Rock? Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's muted. I would say
Retire.
Resign.
What would they say, Rock? What would they say?
I agree.
What would they say?
Step down, resign, consider resigning, consider stepping down, come up with a strong defense. And if you don't, we know the deal. That is a circular firing squad as it relates to Democrats. Meanwhile, the Republicans, they're just fall in line and back the opponent. Look, we had a Republican guy who was caught in a restroom doing some hanky-panky and footsie in a restroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some gay stuff. Mm-hmm. And they came behind him. And we had a guy in Minnesota, a comedian, who just made some little off-color jokes with women, and they made him resign.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They want to be the moral police. Like you said, only God is the only one who sits in judgment of us. But we try to sit in judgment and try to say we are holy of the God.
But it's not a matter of only taking that angle. I really felt and still feel that if you are a humanist, even if you're not as moral as most of us, if you're a humanist and you have compassion and you understand, no matter what your position is on abortions, that if a woman is miscarrying and she is bleeding away, hemorrhaging to death, or heading for sepsis or whatever, and here you have a doctor scared to touch her because he could go to jail or he could lose his license, and you are going to put the price of eggs or the price of gasoline ahead of having compassion for that, I'm sorry. I really have no toleration for. I can't tolerate Trump supporters with their what I call BS excuses as to why they voted for him, because I am yet to find a good, compelling reason intellectually to vote for Trump, because his policy prescriptions are BS as it relates to economics. And if you take Project 2025, it even gets you into more consternation. So I have a problem with this election, but I have lost many elections before. Come on, you know that, John. We've been around this block where we have won some and we have lost a lot in terms of being active on the street. So I'll bounce back and I'll recover and we'll go on to the next fight. But Kamala Harris is right. We're gonna have to fight this all the way if he tries to put any kind of terrible nonsense into legislation. We gotta put on our marching shoes again, John. Same thing, Rod. And we gotta go out there.
But Brock, this far left is going too far, man. The far left has gone too far.
I agree with you.
People are tired. People, I want to say I want to have a Christmas party. I don't want to say, oh, should I, the pronouns or the, no, I want to call you by your name and who you are.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm also willing to invite a gay person or a transsexual person because they are human beings.
There's nothing wrong. Rock, I have no problem with that. But at the same time, Rock, when you're talking about having men who are transitioning to women playing in women's sports, that's a problem. Right?
I totally agree with you.
I mean, it comes to the point now, you know what? It's just, and I said that, in the beginning of it, Trump only outperformed his last vote total by 1 million votes. He got 71 million votes. Kamala Harris got 66 million votes. Biden, when he ran, got 81 million votes. There's a 15 million vote difference between her and Biden. That is all on us.
Trump got 75 last time. Trump got 75 last time.
I thought he got 71. Yeah, he got 70,000. He got 70 million last time. That's 70 million. He got 70 million.
No, he got 75 and he got 75 and Biden got 80.
He got 75. This time he got 71.
Right.
Yeah, but as I cautioned before, let's hold that until we get all the votes in. That might be another.
That's pretty much negligible with the amount of votes that are left out. You're not gonna have like a $3-4 million vote adage to each party. There's not that many votes out there, so we would have called it. I want to bring up a point.
I think you're wrong. Rod. I think you're wrong because we're dealing with California. California hasn't come in yet, and a lot of California hasn't come in yet. So we could get another 4 or 5 million thrown into the pool. But either way, what you're right about, there's going to be a downturn as compared to the last election where there should have been an upturn. And I understand John's position is that we as Democrats taking extreme positions on the left is going to hurt us, especially as it relates to the cultural issues. I got that, John.
You know, John.
Yeah.
I always say to Dr. Bryant, and she and I fight, right?
All the time, baby.
And that is that statistics don't lie unless it happens to you and is 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how small that community is, and that's every community, right? No matter how small it is, it feels that it needs to make that impact.
Mm-hmm.
And the Democrats are so eager, the Democratic Party, of accepting everything. Give it a holiday, a day off from school, all these different things. The Republicans are like, let's group them all together and call it this day. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a national holiday that says all culture holiday. Celebrating all culture. Whatever your culture is that you want to celebrate, come out and celebrate it. But you shouldn't want to celebrate Jamaican heritage, Gay Pride Parade.
Well, to me, that is really, everybody wants to No. Everybody wants to celebrate their own heritage. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have different.
Like I said,
That's what
it's
makes us.
too many.
Well,
It's
but
too
that
many.
what makes us unique. That's what makes it the melting pot. That's what makes us unique. The ability to have all these different cultures and to learn about all these cultures and the impact it can have on us.
Did you hear
But
what
if
I
you
said?
break them all down, yeah,
I said
go ahead.
you should have an all culture day.
I don't want an all culture day. I want to celebrate my culture that day. I want to celebrate my Jewish culture that day.
That's what you
I
do.
want to celebrate my Native American Indian culture that day. I don't want to celebrate my culture with everybody. I want to do it myself, and there should be nothing wrong with that. The point is, we are a diverse
And that's
country.
what is
A
the
diverse.
problem
There's
here.
nothing wrong with diversity, my friend. There's nothing wrong. It's all about being open-minded about those things. But the whole point is this is if you do not agree with me or agree with my ideology, you will cancel me. We are not open. We are not open-minded.
I hate that issue, John.
Well,
If you say something wrong, that's not
well, cancel culture goes both ways, you know.
right.
Cancel
That's
culture
culture
goes
you're in.
both ways. But I have a problem. I have a problem with the right side of the political spectrum telling me that you shouldn't be reading this or you shouldn't be reading that. I believe there should be a standard where books A, B, C, D, E, F, X, whatever, you know, so parents could know. I don't want my kid reading the next book because I would know right away the content is not fit for a 12-year-old. You see, I don't mind, just like with movies where you have PG and whatnot, that we could do it with books. But don't tell me that you're going to ban all books just because it may have the F word in it one time. You know, but the content beyond that F word used one time might be so important.
But if you think about that, who's responsible for banning that? Which section of the government is responsible for that?
The
I would
censors.
say
The censors based on movie censors. Radio and TV people have their standards. I mean, the FCC.
What I'm saying about politics. You've always said it to us, all politics is local. You've always said it to us, all politics is local.
Agree. I totally agree with that. But
so
in a
we need to,
country of 350 million
so we
and, and the kind of diversity we have, in a democracy, even you and Rod just debating that piece about cultural days and whatnot. Everybody wants to be unique. Everybody wants to be recognized and whatnot. But we could have these debates, but we don't have to demonize somebody just because you disagree with maybe their lifestyle or their lifestyle choice or their religious choice.
Correct.
I mean,
correct.
You know, it's a very tricky. John, you're onto something, and I'm not going to dismiss what you're saying. I don't agree with the gay and LGBTQ and the RX, the alphabet soup, and the trans, all that stuff. But all I'm coming from is the position that they are human beings worthy of compassion and love and forgiveness and understanding and whatnot. And as such, the wrong thing is to just stigmatize them just because you disagree with how I believe it's our natural lifestyle. But I think they're entitled to food, clothing, shelter, and whatnot. I'll stop now.
I think that parents need to stand up and push back about what our children reads. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? what is acceptable from what is not should be taught the same way. So if I can't read a book in class that talks about this heterosexual father and heterosexual mother had children,
Mhm.
then I shouldn't be able to read a book
Mhm.
that says a homosexual father and a homosexual mother
Mhm. Mhm.
as children. Same playing field,
Agreed. Agreed.
right? There's one thing that I wanted to come back to on the issue. Obama's rule: don't ask, don't tell.
Okay.
Just like that. Don't ask, don't tell. Just keep it moving. Because
And Tim Walz rule, mind your goddamn business.
right? And keep it moving. Because you know what you need to know? If I'm in war, can I fire M16? Can I drive the getaway truck? Do I know the path? Who am I most likely going to be getting home with if X, Y, and Z were to happen? Those are my concerns. Not about whether you are a male trapped in a woman's body, as in MASH. What was that? MASH. What was that show, Sean? MASH something or another. In the 80s.
Mass killings.
Right. The MASH comedy show was on for a while. Right? Yeah, he just was doing everything to want to go home from the military. I don't care. I don't think it matters. But I will state this publicly that I don't believe that men should play in women's sports. You have a natural edge.
I agree. Totally agree. But here's the problem though, Rod. When you say to people, your son leaves for school in the morning, he comes back a woman in the evening. That's a lie. And all you're doing is spreading fear and stuff. That process for these kids to transition, which I don't agree with, by the way, because I think that should be an adult decision. And I think parents are being are wrong in allowing their little 8-year-old kids to make these kinds of decisions that's going to affect them forever. But when you have the leader of a movement infusing fear into kids that are very vulnerable in school, where it could be beaten up and whatnot, that is wrong, and you got to call it out. And these MAGA people telling me about transgender and all this stuff, fine, but don't take lies. Don't accept lies. It's worse. Haitians are eating dogs. Haitians are eating dogs. People are dying because of Haitian eating dogs, because they're threatening to bomb them. They're disrupting people's lives. I mean, these are lies, and that's my problem with it. I agree with you that a man should not be playing a sport with a woman if he's in a man's body. I agree with you, and I'll stop now.
At what age does a child finish developing? Anybody have any idea?
21.
No idea.
They say past puberty.
21.
No idea.
Puberty, right?
Between 21.
Puberty
Exactly,
and then
25.
from puberty.
21.
Exactly about 25. Right? So if my body, my mind fully develops, and I recognize that this is who I am at 25, and I just and without my knowledge, because kids are curious. That's what they are. They're kids, right? at 7 years old, without my knowledge, getting an operation. Child grows up without a PP, on the JJ, and gets to a point where he goes or she goes, I want to get married. Your mind is, if your mind is not, and then I'm going to go back again, right? Why can a child determine sexuality? No, determine sexuality, but can't determine the ability to have sex.
Interesting.
Right? That if any child that's 7 has sex is rape. Right? Any child. But my 7-year-old child has enough sense to know that he or she wants to be a girl or a boy.
As I said before, Rod.
Go ahead.
As I said before, Rod, that allowing these kids at those ages is nothing short of child abuse to me. So I agree with you on that. My problem is no. Listen, that is not really true. Because to go through a process of transition, it takes months, weeks, years before treatment, drugs, doctors, psychologists. It's not where you leave in the morning and come back in the evening like Trump was spreading. That's the point I'm making. This is a sensitive population, and they're going through a lot of stuff mentally, and you're making it worse when you politicize this aspect of human beings' lives at tender ages and tender stages of their lives, and subject them to bullying in school and other things. And then you realize later we're having these kids with guns because they've been bullied to the point where they're killing people. We've got to take a different approach to it. I agree with you that these should be decisions made when they are adults. In fact, in England right now, let me tell you what's happening. All these psychiatrists and psychologists were telling these little kids, oh, you need to transition to a man to woman, woman to man, and whatnot. And a lot of them went through, and the parents agreed, and they went through, and they did it. And now all these kids are suing, now that they're older, and they realize the permanency of the decision they make and regretting it. They're actually suing parents, suing doctors, psychologists, whatnot. I'll stop there.
Yeah, this is a battle on both sides of the aisle. And it's going to continue to be for a while. But this was one of the issues that A.M. Dennis brought up as to why he felt like Trump provided the better side of the right. And John, he commented on your comment as well that says cancel culture on the left is crazy. And we're all in agreement that it's crazy about the amount of involvement America is in our lives.
Here's my problem with Mr. Dennis's statement. So cancel culture on the left is crazy. So to some extent, I agree. So what about cancel culture on the right, where they don't want to even teach Black history, the correct history of things like that has happened in this country to Black people? So cancel culture on the left is all right. It's bad, but cancel culture on the right is not all right. Come on, Mr. Dennis.
I think
that's a good question.
Rock, I think when they talk about to me, the whole issue of cancel culture is our failure to be open-minded about issues. We are so closed-minded, and we believe what we want to believe in, and we will support We will pay attention to to that information that basically corroborates our own ideology and our own thinking. We limit ourselves instead of just being open and just listening. Your culture may be different from my culture, but there's similarities within our culture. Like, us Guyanese don't like your Trinidadians. You know what I'm saying, right, Rob?
Rock didn't
Well,
understand.
John,
you.
in all earnest, to be honest with you, I believe when you get you're right. In fact, this might be the most profound thing you've said all night, and you have said some other profound things too. But when we are all in different silos, and we're just listening to only one set of news, one set of information, and we're not getting the full scope of the issue or the news itself, and you realize that when you go on YouTube and you punch in Trump supporters being interviewed. You guys can't hear me?
I hear you, Rock.
Okay. I'm saying when you interview Trump supporters, you would realize their lack of information, that guides and motivates them. And when you tell them something like, well, he said this, or he did that. Like, for example, they took some of Trump supporters and they said, okay, we're not going to tell you who these policies belong to. And then they ascribed a lot of Harris's policies. And guess what they said? Oh, yeah, I agree with that. And then they ascribed Trump's policies. And they said, no, I don't agree with that. And then you tell them, well, that's Trump and that's Harris. And then they find some reason to wrap themselves into pretzels to justify what Trump said. So I'm saying to you, in these silos, where you're only getting news from Fox News or Newsmax or whoever on the right, or you're only getting from MSNBC, from MSNBC or whatnot on the left, and you're not diversifying your sources, you're going to have a limited view. And you're right, John. You're going to have a limited view, and you're not open-minded to appreciate the diversity we have in this country and to appreciate what's going on with the different cultures, to where you could even go and enjoy a Japanese meal with sushi, or a Thailand restaurant, or a Vietnam cuisine, or a Jamaican, or a nice pepper pot from Guyana. You know what I mean? You're just not going to get.
Pepper pot is the word.
No, they're not as good as the Trinidad cook up, but but Jamaicans have the jerk chicken too. But the point is, once you limit yourself, and you're right, totally right, John. Once you limit yourself, you're not going to enjoy the wider world. And we have such a vast world, and the beauty about America is we have this diversity. And now you have people on the right want to destroy, and as I wrote in a column, they want to kill DEI, diversity, equality, inclusion. They want to make DEI DIE, and that's a problem. So tell your friend who was just writing on the chat there, Roderick, tell him that if the right is bad, if the left is bad in terms of cancer culture, what about the right that's trying to stop telling us about Elaine in Arkansas, or what happened in Oklahoma, or what has happened in Florida? You know many atrocities that are not even being taught, that half of the population of black men don't even realize what happened to us as black people in this country. I'll stop now.
Hold on, I think I'm muted. Rock, as I sit here and I'm sitting back and I'm reflecting, there was a fight to say that Black History Month was too short. We got the shortest month in the year. No, they ain't got none.
Hmm.
No, they ain't got none. So nothing.
Point taken.
Right? You're not looking on everything. All right, let's bring it local. What's going on in New York in this crazy week? I'm stuck in a room, so I haven't been outside. So tell me what's up.
The elections is what's not my
I know the election. So our mayor.
Oh, they were protesting today against the policies, the deportation policies, but also the funding that was given to migrants were they're going to stop giving the migrants
Hold on, did it come on screen?
vouchers. So that's something that transpired today that also people are protesting against. So several things are happening in New York City.
I think the big problem right now with New York City is you have a mayor that most of the people, and he's my friend. He's all of our friend, I think. John, I know, and whatnot. And I go back with Eric way back into the 80s. How long I go back with him. And let's be honest. The majority of people in New York City right now don't really have confidence in his leadership. They don't.
and the reason why?
Well, the reason why, obviously, is because of all the legal stuff that has come his way. Whether he's
Okay,
innocent
but
or guilty.
that's my point. Right there, Rock. Donald Trump had all these legal issues.
I didn't call for him to resign.
No. All these legal issues, but his people are behind him 150%. Let the legal process take its impact. But if you look at New York City, we are not. We have a surplus. Taxes hasn't been risen. Taxes haven't been increased. You look at the amount of affordable housing or that he's in the process of building. You look at the businesses in our communities. You look at the crime rate in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? Let's cut what did Trump call it? Cut all the legalization. And let's get down to the let's go to the issues. Everybody talks about the migrants.
John, I have a question for you.
Yes.
On the show, we have to be fair too.
I'm ready to be fair.
Now, hold on. You are being fair. You're given the positive statistics, right? Because the mayor, right? The mayor has done so many things to help small businesses and
minority businesses at that.
Yes. But here's the reality, right? We know that New York City is a democratic community, right? We know that New York City is highly democratic. And when thinking in fairness, is a preponderance of stuff that are happening around him. The question is not what I want to see happen. The question is, what do you think might actually happen? Based upon this, you think the people are going to get out to vote and say, hey, I'm going to go Eric Adams' way? John.
Do I think that?
Yeah.
I think it can happen. Yeah.
Right. The average New Yorker who don't know Eric, only see him on TV, only see what he has read, right? He wasn't their first choice in 2021.
Yeah, brother. But look look who's on the bench.
Now,
You
again,
see, look who's on those liberal lefty policies. They will destroy. Let me go even further now. You want to go further now? Donald Trump made one important point that he made throughout the last couple of years. In all these urban communities, where all the minorities are underperforming, the economic downturns and everything else, who is the majority of their local governments? Is it blacks? Is it whites? It's minorities. It's us.
well,
What the hell are we doing?
Let me push back on you there, John, because I
Push back,
I had my defense of Eric because, as I stated,
It's not my defense. I'm
no, you give me stats, and I love that. And we all friends, and we all wished him well and all that, and still wish that he could find a way to extricate himself. But let me tell you what came out of this election. 7 out of 10 people think that the country is going in the wrong direction, but I could give you stats that shows that economically, even the Economist magazine out of London is telling you that America is the best economy in the world, and they had a soft landing coming out of COVID. But yet the perception is, by most people, even people who voted for Kamala Harris, that hey, things are high. Hey, I go to the grocery store. Wow, it's expensive. Interest rates, all this kind of stuff. So the perception fuels the reality, right?
That's true.
So you can give me all these wonderful stuff, and Eric has done some good things, yes, in terms of small businesses and whatnot. But on the other hand, the perception of people, he totally effed up the immigrant crisis. And that, more than anything else, is hurting him even beyond his legal woes. And that's why I think Rod's question is right. Could he win another election?
Let me break it down, the migrant crisis. Does anybody know the percentage of minority providers that are providing services to the migrants? Who are providing services for food?
Very low.
Rock? Not at all. Not at all. That's the point. Look at the number one provider. It may be not like the big .go, but the smaller providers are getting an opportunity to provide these services for the migrants and other homeless services. And when you look at the staff of some of these providers, the majority of them are people of color. When it comes to looking at the MWB program, the shelters, who's doing that? They're minority companies through the MWBE program. So everybody can talk about these migrants, and especially I love these our people talking about the migrants, how the migrants are taking hit. But if you look at the number of staff members on these providers who are people of color, you'll think twice. So, everybody, that they don't get into the weeds, and the reason I can espouse this is because, I'm in a position where we do have migrant shelters, and I see minority providers who are providing the services for them. And I look at the majority of the staff that are being hired, they look like us. When I look at the vendors who are being hired, they look like us. How do you think that happened to us?
John,
back to my statement again, right? And my statement again is that if I feel it, it's 100%.
I agree, Roger. But people don't want to. People don't want to do homework.
Right. The Venezuelans are criminals. The this or that.
And what's mind-boggling again is us, because Donald Trump's perception. It's not even perception. This crap is reality. And you know what? And it's still stand by him.
Well,
okay, I'll grant you. As a guy who, you can speak, Miss Bryant. You can speak.
I said on that tip, there's a lot we said about the election and everything. And unfortunately, if people didn't go out to vote, we have what we have, and we got to deal with what we have to, and we got to come together and support some of the process and actually advocate when you know it's wrong. So we could complain now. People didn't do what they needed to do. So we got to move forward, guys, and see how we can come together as a community to better educate our folks on civics and the importance of local elections and eventually national elections. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a roller coaster coming to an end. Roderick, we're sending love to you as you are healing and feeling better.
Thank you. Just Rock, go ahead and say your last word till we go getting off.
Okay, I just wanted to tell John, I understand having the compassion for immigrants because I'm one myself. For immigrants, period, legal or illegal.
Right.
And I was an immigrant. But when you have native born, especially American blacks, who think that you are favoring them over their issues and they can't pay their rent, they all that. The perception is going to drive.
Say good night. Say whoever you want to say good night to.
Say good night. Say whoever you want to say good night.
Oh yeah. Okay, thank you, Rod. It was a pleasure as usual. I hope we can do this again sometime. John, I always love you as a brother. Roderick, you know I love you. Mrs. Brian, I'm glad to have met you, known you over these last couple of weeks. And you do your thing, my dear. You do your thing. Good night, everybody. I'm out of here.
Have a great night. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Please, most of all, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. God bless, and continue to worry about your success. Get it done. Good night.
Bye.